All right, let's dive into this one. All right, Jimmy, next week, based upon the way that the Browns beat up on the Steelers, beat them down. Next week, we've got a very intriguing setup of games. Now, if the Steelers had won, this would have changed the landscape, but it looks like we've got a small civil war. We've got the battle of the geriatrics. We've got a Texas Tech rivalry, and the old man teaching the young coach new tricks, as in, or more so, the lineage bowl. We'll call it the lineage bowl.
Okay.
So you got the Rams and Packers that start off Saturday at 3:35, which is a pretty solid time slot for that game. It's going to be in Green Bay, so that means it won't be overly frosty. So this LA team won't be dealing with too much cold. It'll be cold, but it'll be daytime. So it's a lot better than playing at night. Then you got the Ravens traveling up to Buffalo for our Civil War, battling at 7:15 on Saturday night. That's going to be fun to watch. That's my favorite game of the week, even though I am a Bucs fan. And then on Sunday, the Browns take on the Chiefs in Kansas City. So you got the battle of former Texas Tech quarterbacks. I was kind of hoping that it would have been Browns versus Ravens just so we could see the battle of former Heisman Trophy winners, but we didn't get that. And then the last game is, of course, the battle of the geriatrics of Tom Brady taking on Drew Brees for the third time this year in New Orleans. So, Jimmy, out of those four games, which one got your attention the most?
I mean, I say this no lie. All of them. Like, well, okay, not the Rams and the Packers, because I think that that's going to be a blowout. I think that the weather is going to affect the Rams team. I think that the Packers proved that they could slow down Derrick Henry, so I don't think Cam Akers is going to run all over them, like he's done in his last few games, like what he did against the Seahawks. I mean, he was just dominant in that game. He's not going to be able to do that against this Packers team. So I think that, the Packers, especially off of this week of rest, is going to be good to get some guys healthier, but they're not really going to be out of rhythm, because I think that the connection now that we see between Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, and the connection between Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, is going to carry them beyond this point. And I think you still have to question the health of Jared Goff. Walford, the backup who hurt his neck off of that illegal hit by Jamal Adams, probably isn't going to play. I mean, he was in an ambulance going to get checked out. Probably isn't going to play, so it's going to be Jared Goff again. Whose thumb is still not going to be completely healed. They have to protect that, so they're going to have to rely on their defense and on the run game. And Aaron Donald, he's got a rib injury, so we don't know. He's going to play. He's going to force himself to play. We don't know how effective he's going to be. But that game, I'm not particularly looking forward to. The other three, I think they're going to be fantastic games. I think they're all going to be close games, so it's hard for me to pick one out of those three. But if I were to...
Oh, before you do that.
Yes.
Since it's tough for you to pick, which one has the best narrative? Because all three of the four have awesome narratives. And so the question is, which one do you feel like is the better storyline going into the weekend? Since you're struggling with just picking a game, did you like all of them?
Okay, I'm going to go with the Bucs at the Saints. Like you said, the battle of the geriatrics. It may be the last time that we see Drew Brees if they lose this game. Point. So to see two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, over 500 touchdowns, all these Super Bowls were mostly Brady. Brees, over 80,000 passing yards. And just having been the ambassador to the game, despite the fact that he had that screw up in the summertime with what he said, we won't have to get into that. But I think that this particular game, there's a reason why it's the Sunday night game. I mean, this is the true. This is in the true standalone slot.
It's the closeout game. It has to be. And it's funny you talk about the summertime deal. Did you see the picture that went out? Before the game.
Yes.
And of course, everyone immediately pounced on it. Rightfully so, but at the same time.
Tell me what the shirt was.
So it said "Say Her Name" on it. And he was rocking it, and they took a picture of it, of course, and they put it all over their social media and stuff. And everyone had those questions of, oh, really? Say whose name? Whose name should we be saying, Drew?
Right.
Because it's been twisted over the last week after everything that happened down at the Capitol about the Say Your Name situation. And, of course, everyone pounced on it. A few minutes later, someone pointed out, actually, they've been wearing these shirts all season. This is the first time they took a picture of Drew Brees in the shirt, but he's been wearing it with everyone else all season long. poor timing by the Saints organization. Poor timing by their social media manager, which I think their social media manager was trolling everybody. Had to, because the only reason why you put that out there on this day of all games, you put Drew Brees out there in that shirt. Yeah, that was piss poor timing. But outside of that, I like that pick of that one being the most intriguing storyline, because you're right. This is the first time they've ever met in the playoffs, which is super intriguing because they met in the season, I think, four times before this, outside of
Something
before
like
this
that.
season. Maybe more. I have to go back and do the calculation, but I think someone mentioned 4 times. And yeah, they never played in the actual playoffs. They never played each other in the Super Bowl because they're one Tom was always in the AFC. That to me brings a great amount of just weight to this game, and in which, like you said, this is why it's at the 5:40 slot on Sunday night. But the game that's got my attention, it's that Ravens-Bills game. It's the battle of the narrative for both. It's the one where Lamar Jackson hadn't won a playoff game, and everyone said he had to win a playoff game to beat something. And Lamar Jackson's 24 years old. That doesn't prove anything, because Peyton Manning, it took him 6 years to win his first playoff game.
Right.
Same thing with Josh Allen. He's got to now win, and he owns the AFC in everybody's eyes. Even with Patrick Mahomes out there, people think he's better. He has to prove that he can get past the Ravens defense, and Lamar Jackson has to prove that he can be a passer past the Bills offense. So I think that one has the more intriguing storyline, mainly because it's 2 young quarterbacks that we'll hopefully see do this for the next 10 years.
I mean, and you mentioned the right name, which is Patrick Mahomes. This is the narrative with this game, is to say who is going to be the true challenger to Patrick Mahomes? Who is going to be the Peyton Manning to his Tom Brady over the next 10 years? Is it going to be Lamar Jackson or is it going to be Josh Allen?
Yeah, because it was supposed to be Deshaun Watson. And
I think it still can be.
And we know his situation.
He's in a bad spot, but I think it still can be. He led the league in passing yards, but the things that they went through in Houston really overshadowed the fact that he got even better this year. He is such a fantastic quarterback, just stuck in a really bad situation, put into by Bill O'Brien.
Oh, no, I agree with you. Jimmy, did you know what Deshaun Watson did this season? I was in shock when I actually looked it up.
He led the league in passing yards.
He led the league in passing yards. He 70% completion percentage.
Completion, yes.
And I know we're not really talking about him in this situation, but dude, that's ridiculous. I would have never expected his season to be. When I looked at those numbers, I was like, wait a minute. I know he was good, but he was that good?
Yes, he was.
On that bad of a team. Yeah, because you can't do anything about the defense if they're giving up all the yards. So, well, yeah, I mean, you're right. This is the conversation of who will be competing with Patrick Mahomes in the AFC. But to be honest, the AFC really has a bright future if they have 4 quarterbacks.
And, I mean, you could even put Baker in here, depending upon if this is a version of the Baker that we're going to continue to see a better version of, or if he regresses. Because, again, now that they're a playoff team, you've won a playoff game, you're going to have a target on your back. You know what? Forget all that. Forget next season, the Browns having more of a target on their back. How is Baker Mayfield going to play in this game against the Chiefs?
Yeah, and that's another storyline, because Baker Mayfield has had a target on his back since he was randomly drafted at number 1 in the draft, and everyone's trying to We're trying to figure out why he was drafted that high. And so, no, you're right. We are at a situation where that storyline is even as intriguing, because he is the 5th wheel on this quad, on this foursome, that he now has to break through. He's trying to prove to everybody that no, Lamar Jackson, no to Josh Allen, heck, no to Deshaun Watson. I am the competitor for Patrick Mahomes. I am the obstacle. I will be the one that he has to get through, not me getting through him, even though Patrick Mahomes has a Super Bowl win. And then he's going to be pulling the LeBron James. They're trying to bring the championship back to Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. He's going for that with all his commercials. And so now he's proven. And it's funny, Nick Wright had mentioned this on Twitter, and I got to agree with him on this. He said that the version of Baker Mayfield in the second half of the season, where he's not turning the ball over a lot, is a top 10 quarterback in this league. He's right. Baker has shown this season, after losing OBJ and calming down, he's good. And I'm going to say this. I know that we want to say that it was a good thing they lost OBJ. It wasn't. They're not better without him. The difference, though, is that it did help Baker Mayfield grow up. This is my theory behind it. Baker had a crutch with OBJ. When he lost that crutch, he learned how to walk. Now he's going to walk and still have OBJ as a weapon and be better for it. Because some players use those crutches a lot more than they should. They don't grow as fast because they know that, I don't have to because I can just take care of, I have this person to take care of.
I kind of disagree. There's a difference between being better and playing better. Are they better without OBJ? No, because he still has a very special skill set at the wide receiver position.
Right.
But do they play better without him? Yes, they do.
And I can say that this year they did play better. Do they overall play better without him? I can't agree with that. But I get what you're saying.
Here's the thing. Here's what they have to do. Without OBJ, they know that they have to rely more on the run game, which is their strength. And Baker, he turns into more of a West Coast quarterback as opposed to a quarterback who's trying to bomb it down the field to OBJ. Because if you watched that game yesterday, he didn't really – he might have hit a few deep passes, but it's really West Coast. It's really the intermediate game, and that's where he's at his best.
Let me ask you this question. Okay. Is this a Stefanski thing, or is this a Baker's better without OBJ thing?
It's probably more of a Stefanski thing.
I think that having a new coach that recognizes, hey, we're much better if we run the ball with two elite running backs rather than trying to bomb it nonstop to OBJ, that's going to make him open more. And to be honest, this is the funny thing about it is we call him a drama king. I get everybody's jokes about OBJ. But if you notice, the only time that OBJ acted out was when they were losing. That was his complaint. We're losing. I can help us win. When they're winning, OBJ is actually pretty quiet. So I get that we want to pile on the dude. Like I said, call him a drama king. But because he recognizes that they're a better team, he knows that they're better than what they're showing. And that when they're winning, he's quiet. That, to me, gives you a little bit of a vocal leader. He probably could go about it differently, but at the same time, we like vocal leaders, quote unquote. We say we like them, but then we complain about and nitpick everything they do. So,
all right, so real quick, I know this is early. It's just Monday, and this can change throughout the week.
Yep.
But pick a early winner of each one of these games.
All right, I'm going to go with the Packers. Okay. I'm going to go with the Bills. Okay. I'm going to go with the Browns. Okay. And I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. I'm
going to go with the Packers. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going to go with I'm on the bandwagon. I'm going to go with the Bucs to overcome the Saints because the Saints are the most unlucky team in the playoffs the last 3 seasons, and it will not end this year.
Nope.
And I'm going to go with the Browns too. Because I'm going with the Browns. They're going to run the ball down Kansas City's throat because they can and because they have to. And that's going to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. That defense is going to get after Kansas City. I don't think Kansas City is going to be able to fix the problems that plagued them to where they played so many close games the last 8 to 9 games of the season with 3 weeks off. So they're going to be out of timing and out of rhythm. It's not going to look that way early in the game, but they're going to settle. They're going to have Stefanski back, and it's going to be a very close game. But I think the Browns could be the Titans of this year and get further than anyone thought they could. So I'm picking the Browns to win this game.
I like that. All right.